Hi there, friends. Today I'm going to talk about the book Equal Rites by Sir Terry Pratchett and why I think that it is a good starting point if you're looking to get into the Discworld series. Now, if you know anything about Discworld at all, then you know that Equal Rites is not book number 1, it is book number 3. And you may be saying, Kim, why on earth are you sitting here recommending book number 3 of a series? So I'm about to get into that. If you already know why it's okay to start with book number 3 and don't want to hear this, then feel free to skip to this timestamp. And yeah, otherwise, here we go. So Discworld is more of a setting than a series. While all of its books are intertwined in a way because they all take place on the same world, often in an area kind of close to each other, there are several different series within the setting. Within the larger overarching series, I guess, is how it would normally be said. But like I said, I prefer to call it a setting to avoid that confusion. And so Equal Rites, even though it's book number 3 of the series, is actually book number 1 of this sub-series. And it is book number 1 of the Witch series. So while it's not book number 1 of Discworld, it is still definitely a good starting point, and you will not be confused. It introduces new characters, a new location, and a new plot. So if you do not read the first 2 books of the Discworld series, then starting in at book number 3 is not going to be confusing to you. All right, so Equal Rites. Basically, in the Discworld, if you are a woman and you have magic, you are a witch. If you are a man and you have magic, you are a wizard. And that's just the way of things. That's how it goes. Wizards go to a school where they learn to do magic, witches kind of take on almost an apprenticeship type thing. And that's how they learn to do magic. Different types of magic, everything. However, one rainy evening, a wizard decides to pass on his staff to an 8th son of an 8th son who is being born in a remote mountain village. The problem is that he passes the staff on and passes away without checking to see the exact chromosomal content of the child. So he passes his staff on to a little girl. And as this little girl begins to express her magic, as I said earlier, witch and wizard magic is 2 different things. And it becomes expressed in a way where she decides to pursue becoming a wizard instead. So this book is about her journey physically from a small mountain town to the big city where the wizard school is, as well as her sort of emotional and I guess social journey of having to reject the idea that all women with magic are witches, and for her to be able to go through and do that. So Equal Rites is a good starting point because it is the first book in the Witches series. It introduces several characters that you're going to see later on, especially Granny Weatherwax. I like to introduce people to books where they see a character who's going to reoccur a lot. Granny Weatherwax is a big one. She is in every single one of the witch books and is a basically is kind of the leader of the witches. And you will see her throughout this series. She is definitely one of the most, to me, she is one of the most important Terry Pratchett characters, because I think that he put a lot of himself into her. And she is sort of the mentor of our protagonist, Escarina Smith. So that is one reason why I recommend starting with this one. Another is that because it is a little bit of like a journey story where you start in this little mountain town off, wherever, and then you go on a journey through several different areas to get to the big city where the Wizard University is. You see a lot of different cultures, so there's a lot of world building in this, and you get familiar with areas and different attitudes that people have in those areas. And so you go from the Ramtop Mountains, which is where the witches generally live. It's very secluded, a lot of small towns, down to Ankh-Morpork, which is a very main city, and Ankh-Morpork actually ties into several different series within Discworld and is very important. So it is always good to encounter Ankh-Morpork early in your Discworld journey. And then my final reason for recommending Equal Rites as a first read is because it does display the dynamic between witches and wizards. It is something that's important in many of Discworld books. I won't say all or even most, but it's a very interesting aspect of the world building, which I love. And I know that a lot of people do enjoy learning about magic systems and that sort of thing. And so this is a book where you are introduced to 2 different magic systems, and you are able to learn a good bit about them, because it is mostly from the perspective of a young girl who is trying to learn to be a witch, but also trying to learn to be a wizard. And so it's from her perspective, so she gets to learn a lot about the magic and the philosophy and attitude behind both types of magic, which I think is a very important aspect of the wizardry and the witchery. Those are the reasons why I recommend Equal Rites as a good starting point for the Discworld series. If you have any questions or comments, then please feel free to leave them below. And I hope this video was helpful for you. And of course, you're not obligated to start with Equal Rites. You can start wherever you want. And I hope that I can help you find a good starting point for you. Have a lovely day, and I will see you around. I have this boy. He's a good boy. This is Pratchett, named for Sir Terry Pratchett. He's important, and he keeps bothering me.